everybody, it's Janet and welcome to my channel. Today I'm here for Cut Cardstock and I've got a great St. Patrick's Day themed card for you. It's interactive and 3D and I think you're going to enjoy watching how this one is put together. Now, because my card is a little bulky, I've also created a custom box for it. That is not part of this video, but I do want to show you that I did decorate that box that I made. And inside the box, let's put this here so you can still see it a little bit. Inside the box I have my actual card. So if I take that out, it's very pretty, it's very decorative, just the way it is. But there's a surprise inside because if you push it down, it reveals a whole bunch more to this card. And it stands quite nicely. So if I move this out of the way, I'm just going to press it down a little bit and press it back. Since it's been flat in the box, then you can see it stands up and it really is a nice presentation. Now the back can be where you sign it, where you write a message. You could also stamp this and you could even attach a gift card to this if you wanted to. One thing you'll want to know if you're going to make this card is that you should use some good heavy cardstock. So in this case I used Neenah Classic Crest 110-pound cover stock. This color is called Classic Natural White. It's a white, but it isn't super bright white. There's also Neenah Classic Crest Solar White, which is the very bright white cardstock that Neenah offers. All the decorations for this project comes from a digital kit from Taylormade Cards4U. It's called One Lucky Day. Now one problem that many people have, and that I initially had when I try to print on something like this, is that it's so stiff it doesn't want to go through your printer. What I found is if you train the paper a little bit, in other words, I roll it up, kind of soften the fibers in this a little, and then roll it up the other way, and then put it in your tray of your printer such that this curve that you see here is the direction that it's going to pull the paper in to print on. So in my case it needs to be up like this because it pulls it up and through the printer and prints on this side. Hopefully that makes sense. I find the Neenah cardstock prints really nicely on my inkjet. I get nice rich colors. I'll put the exact printer model in my video description in case you want to know. But if I train the paper a little bit, the way I just did it, it runs through fine. If I don't do that, it will jam every time. So this is a tip I hope that will help you. It may not work on your printer like it works on mine, but if it will print, you've got an excellent cardstock to use for a variety of needs and projects. I'll put a link to the Cut Cardstock store, also this Neenah Classic Natural White cardstock for you if you want to check that out. And let's proceed and I'll show you how this card comes together. Here are the images that come in the One Lucky Day digital kit from Taylormade Cards4U. The first page I showed you was just like a 8.5 by 11 style. This is a page of ephemera that you can cut up, and there's lots of very old looking illustrations here. Very vintage, pretty cool, and you can size those any size you want them to be. Then there are 4 different paper styles. This is a page of 4 of them in a quadrant. There are also pages with just the florals in bigger format, but that's basically what comes in your kit. Now I've cut the one that had the 4 different pages up into the 4 pieces so I can use them for card making. They are conveniently sized for that. As you can see, I cut up the ephemera pieces and I'm also aging them with more distress ink in vintage photo, which really helps them look aged and older. I've printed all of these pieces using Neenah Classic Crest Classic Natural White in 110-pound cover stock. You can get this at Cut Cardstock. I'll leave links for that and for this digital kit in my video description box. Next, I dry embossed a piece of the floral paper. It's size 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. And then I'm using some Cosmic Shimmer Opal polish in green pearl. What you do is you wet your sponge just a little bit so that it's damp, and then pull off a little bit of the color, and then you can use that to literally polish your piece of paper. And it just makes these embossed areas just stand out and be so beautiful. I love to use polish when I can, but unfortunately, even though this turned out so well, I ended up covering it with so much ephemera it doesn't even show in the final card. But I thought it worth showing to you anyway because it really shows what this polish can do. Now I'm going to use the Classic Crest in Classic Natural White again to make a piece for my main card base. Now this is going to be 4 1/4 inches wide by 11 inches long. I've scored this at 1 inch, 2 3/4 inch, 3 3/4 inch, 5 1/2 inch, which is right in the middle, 7 1/4 inch, 8 1/4 inch, and 10 inches. And I'll put these measurements in my video description for you. And this is in the Classic Neenah Natural White again. And it's going to form the box or the base of the card that holds the piece that stands up straight. On the middle score line at 5 1/2 inches, I'm going to mark 1/2 inch from each side of the card. And then I'm just drawing lightly in the line so I can see it a little better. And then I'm going to use my craft knife, move just slightly to the left of the center line, and cut just a straight line across from one tick mark to the other. Then I'm going to do the same on the other side. And I want to make this, you know, a decent amount of space because I've got a fairly thick piece that I'm going to have go through this slit when I'm done. But just it's a little more than maybe 1/8 of an inch from each side of that middle score line. And once each of the straight lines are cut, then you can cut them at the end so that you can actually create a slot. So you could see that as I pull that one out and then do the same on the other side. I'm going to end up with a nice straight slot, and that's where the stand-up piece is going to slide up and down in. You'll want to double check that your straight piece will fit through that before you proceed. And then the next step is to burnish all of the score lines you made earlier. And what you'll do is fold each of the fold lines toward the slot on both sides of this piece. And then when you fold that up, it's going to form the box shape that you're going to see in a moment. Now the stand-up piece, I want to give you those measurements. The larger piece, which is the whiter cardstock, that's going to be 3 1/4 by 5 1/4 right there. The decorative piece that I put on it is actually 3 by 5 1/8. And I'm going to use some score tape on the back of this polished cardstock. The reason being, I want to get a really tight fit to this larger piece so that as it goes up and down that slot, it doesn't catch on anything. Tape and slip the decorative piece that we worked on just a minute ago through the top and down through it, and then place that at the bottom of the fold line, just like you see it there. Once that's in place, then I can take the top of the box piece and again attach it where that fold line is. And then this will allow that stand-up piece to slide up and down through that slot. So you can see how that works as I press down there. And as you play with this, as you slide the middle piece up and down, it will start to get trained and it'll sit very nice for you. At this point then I'm ready to start decorating it, and I first used one of those ephemera pieces which just fit perfectly on the front here. I really like that design. And then the lighter paper that I had printed, I cut and made them as mats basically for all sides of this card base. Center of the butterfly so the wings can stand up a little bit, mailed or put
and then
in an
the last
envelope.
thing I'm going to put on this main
piece
piece
are
are
a couple coin stickers
box
with shamrocks on them. So this is
So it
another
just
good
really
example of
adds
why
a nice touch.
you want to make your. Next, I'm going to come in with my ephemera pieces. I just love this receipt. It's kind of like a meal ticket thing that a waitress would use. Then I've got this cute little postcard with the Irish girl on it. Love that one too. Then I have this little piece of music that I'm going to stick at the top. And you can see here, if you can put things that are wider than your slot opening once you've passed that slot opening when it's shut. So I'm going to take advantage of that. I'm going to put in that music and also this really pretty butterfly. It is higher than the lower part of the butterfly, just to give it again a little bit more dimension. And I will let it sit there for a little bit until it sets. because that glue will set up pretty quickly. It just takes a little bit of time to cool. And you can see how much that adds to it. I really feel like that makes the butterfly look like it just landed there on the flowers. And now you can see how easy it still is to fold up. I'm going to collapse it like it would be when it's mailed. And while it's true that you'll need a box or a bag to give this to the recipient, I think it's worth that to have such a beautiful presentation. There is plenty of room on the back to write your message to the recipient. You could mat it, you could stamp it, you could even put a gift card back here, which I think would be a nice touch, and that would make it even more of a gift to somebody. Thanks for joining me today. Please leave any questions you have underneath my video description box. I'll be happy to answer them. Again, I'll have all the links and measurements for everything in my video description box for you there as well. I hope you have a great day. I'll be back soon with another video. Before you go, please consider subscribing, give me a thumbs up, and ask any questions you have about this project. In the meantime, consider staying a while as well. Here are some more videos you might like if you like this one. Thank you so much.